What's up, Sims Mafia? So today we are here to check in with the culture because there's so much going on. I think that we should have a chat. Like,
we have to have a chat.
We should
check in and just explain our perspectives, see what you guys feel.
Yeah, we're gonna hit just everything going on with the riots, Black Lives Matter, Lana, Doja. I think these are just like things that have just been happening specifically.
And all close together, and just the timing of everything's just bizarre.
Busy.
Yeah.
May's been busy.
2020's been stressful, so let's just put that on a whole nother note, but it's time to unpack.
It is. So let's start
go
off
ahead.
with George. How are we all feeling about this entire situation? Just the story itself and how it's like unraveling.
So I feel a lot of things. I think it's bizarre and crazy and weird that they used to work together and had shifts that overcrossed. And so it's like they knew each other. And the fact that all this footage is coming out and he's not resisting arrest at all. He's so compliant. It's crazy. And then to see them fighting him in the car and then to have 3 men on him and 1 guy on the lookout. It's just like, what's happening here over an alleged forged bill? A fake bill?
A $20 bill at that.
Yeah.
I just think that it's completely extra of what. I mean, I laugh, but it's simply because I think that we've just gotten to a point of so much pain that it's like to laugh and crying. And it's like, this is absolutely insane. It's another scenario of a blatant murder, and they wanted us to shrug it off. And since we responded in such a large way, it's actually now being looked at it like, should we evaluate this? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Like, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's like, it's crazy that it takes the responses or the quote unquote, like social media can be a positive and negative. Like we are always trying to cancel people, and sometimes it can get like toxic, but at the same time in these moments we can see the power of it and how it pushes through, because how Crystal's saying, like, if we didn't make that noise and show them we care about this, it just continues to go and go and go as it always has. Well, like, it's small movements. No, it's not like overnight something big happens. But I was just talking to my dad about how we move so far from things extreme as the KKK walking down the street and that type of enforcement, fast forwarding to where we are now. And not that one's better than the other, but it is just like the progression that has happened and all these protests that we're doing.
Oh my God.
Yo,
sorry guys, things have just been a little bit stressful with our dogs right now.
Yeah, our dogs can never.
We have a boy and a girl dog, okay? And the female Coco is coming off of heat, and the boy dog Austin is still trying to figure his way back to reality.
Okay.
I'm so mad on when I officially saw it, because my face, I know y'all saw my face react. It was far too much. Back to it. I'm so sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, just about the progression and things that we have, like, can't over-accomplish with our protesting, like. And so on that tip, the protests, the quote-unquote riots, there's so much happening, like.
Okay, so I agree. I'm so happy that we have all of our platforms and our voices and technology, and we come together and we have footage and we're using our voices and bringing attention to things to get it to this point. I'm so very thankful, because the situations like the protests turning into the riots, where the protesters aren't the ones that are starting the riots, reading between the lines, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy because it's like, if we didn't have our voices and we didn't have that footage, that narrative would really be pushed. Because they're still trying to push. Exactly.
Yeah. And so now we're seeing the truth more come out of how history is molded. Like, if we make the headline this, then that's just how it's stamped in history. It's just like, now we have social media to contradict that shit. You know?
Exactly. And you were, when we were having a conversation earlier with our parents, C had said to our dad about how their generation was conditioned with the TV. So it's like, we're talking about the narratives, whatever they push on the TV is what they believe, or just what they thought was true, because that's what they thought was the news. And now we have the news, but the news for us is like a third, fourth. We definitely go to social media, to each other. We do our own research with the web, YouTube. Like, we're definitely more researchy than just the news, because we realize the news can be a lie, and they can push a certain situation that's not always the truth. And 9 out of 10 it's not.
No, definitely, yeah. But today we had a curfew, and because of everything that's going on, and this one was having to drive us home, and like, she was driving steady, but I was just feeling so nervous inside.
Guys, this is absolutely insane. I've never in my life, obviously a lot of people have never experienced this, but this is like top 10 craziest things that's ever fucking happened. And sure. I'm really trying to keep it like cool, calm, and collected, but that coming across like all of Los Angeles County, this is like...
Yeah, we got a buzz to our phone, mind you, like, and we were out at my parents' house, which is like way far in IE, and it takes us, it's like a 20-minute drive, so we're out there, and it was 5:19, and that's when we get the buzz to our phone saying like, oh, everyone needs to be home by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And guys, it was like an immediate wrap-up. Like, we just got to our parents' house. Like, it was supposed to be more so like letting the day kind of unwind. Like, there was no letting the day do anything. It was like
immediate, because like they said, it's like, okay, 5:18, but then we're getting on the highway, and there's a lot of people who got the same alert, who are okay wherever they were, you know what I mean, during quarantine. We are still visiting our families, so it's like everyone's trying to rush back home. So it's
crazy.
Like we made it home. Traffic was kind of crazy.
And we made it home literally with 4 minutes.
4 minutes. And
obviously it's not like that, like the boogeyman is gonna pop out, but
it's not
we've
the
seen crazy shit.
Yes.
And just looking at the pigmentation of our skin, obviously, like, it's not something that we can risk, like, and not something that you're willing to risk just because you're feeling like, oh, fuck it, I'm feeling rebellious. Like, no, I'm just not trying to risk my life. The situation,
not at all. Not trying to risk your life over it at all. And there was a situation in Atlanta where same situation like today, they issued out the curfew at a shorter time, at a really quick time, close to the time where the curfew started. So today we was 5:18 and our curfew was 6. It's the same situation similar in Atlanta. So you see people, there's a lot of cars on their way through. It's just a lot of traffic trying to get through. They stopped this one car, and it was a black couple. They run up to the car, super crazy aggressive, force the door open. Obviously the couple's confused, so they don't understand what's going on and why they're being stopped. There's other cars that are here too. The female's tased, her boyfriend or her significant other literally pulled the taser off, because it's like, what's going on? Why are we being tased? They pull her out of the car aggressively. Now he's being tased, and he's being pulled out of the passenger car aggressively, and it's like, over this random curfew y'all just enforced with a short amount of time of notice.
And that's the thing, when it's like, if it's an actual reason, you're going outside ready, like, I'm risking my life, that's one thing. But when it is, when I was just making that comment, like, it's not something I risk my life over. It's like, okay, I'm just at my parents' house. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing something life or death-y, so why am I about to risk that? But it also is fucking ridiculous that we have to think that way. Like, something can go wrong and I can get tased and like go through all this because I'm not home.
And it just changes completely. And it's just like, I don't think that it's worth any person, any minority at this point to push against it. It's like they're constantly trying to use everything as a reason as to why this person got killed, or blame it on anything. So it's just like, I could say, safety to all out there. Just make sure that you're being smart, being wise, making smart decisions, and just moving with a passion that is still contained with being aware of what's happening, and get the message out, but just don't lose your life over it. And that's the main thing that I want everyone to be able to survive this, so we can be able to explain and actually get the change that we're looking for.
Get the history right,
Exactly.
There's always been this systematic oppression that has made it designed to where we can rightfully just kind of be killed off and this and that, and no one really cares. The noise that we make doesn't really take traction, and it's like, Crystal brought to my attention this video, and now it's viral everywhere, that was happening in New York City, where people know this is the vibe of cops towards people of color, specifically black people, specifically black men. And this woman's in the park just kind of manipulating that situation, like, to her benefit. I think y'all saw the video. I did, but like,
explain. It's like Lady was walking through the park. She didn't have her dog on a leash. It's a rule in that park that you have to have the dog on a leash.
Central Park. That's
Central Park, exactly.
Yeah.
For so many reasons, outside of just protecting you and your dog, just how your dog could be aggressive to other dogs.
Right.
Safety
it's
reasons.
Too big and busy of a park.
Exactly, and too many people come to this one situation, this one park. So she was told by a person who held the right and authority to tell her that the dog needs to be on a leash, and it just so happened the guy was a male of color. He was a black male. She didn't like the fact that it was a black man telling her what to do, so she's getting all crazy and aggressive, dragging her dog across the lawn, trying to force an issue of her dog not being on a leash.
Dragging him.
And let me just clarify, she didn't necessarily get upset that it was a black man telling her. It's the moment that he decided to write up the citation, but it was a combination of things in that moment of him saying that he wanted to write a citation for her for the incident. You're not putting your dog on the leash. I have the authority to be able to do so. So now that it's got to this point, now you say you want to call the police on me. Oh, and I'm going to say you're a black aggressive man. That is where it's now like, okay, where are we going? You know what I'm saying? This is my right. So at what point is it now okay
doing anything wrong?
And we've seen how these stories have unraveled where black men have been where they should be or where they're permitted to be,
doing nothing wrong,
and the next thing you know, someone's called on them, and it's just kind of like, oh shit, this person's died now. Like, and obviously in that situation, it wasn't the police themselves, but it's just like this. There's this energy that is amongst the air that just lets people feel like our lives don't matter.
Exactly.
Like, oh, it's okay. I can do this. I can say whatever I want to say. I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to manipulate it. She's calling the cops, repeating over and over and over again. Yeah, it's a black man. It's a black man. He's being aggressive. And it's like, thank God. I can't remember which one of you said that some cops showed up with some sense that were like, let me actually ask questions and see how the situation is working before just showing up how some do, and before the person has the opportunity to explain themselves. Things are going way left. Like,
yeah.
That, and also thank God to the sister to start recording and saying in this moment that this is going to be a moment, you know, that comes down to evidence of me showing that this woman is lying.
Exactly.
And sometimes you don't have the opportunity to fight that, but in this case, not only did they have two people who were on one understanding of something and her having a complete different thing, but then they also had evidence. And it's just like, to back it up furthermore, he already had his job to just back up his stance of why he was even speaking. So it wasn't going to go well for her, but it's just the measures that some people go to. And as being African American women, you know, you experience some things that are just outlandish to you, and to know these different stories, it just begins to say, okay, we've got to take a stand and we've got to ask for some type of justice in these things. This is not right that people can do this, and it's okay, and it's, you know, there is no reprimand. She has to be reprimanded for that. This man's life could have been taken. Like,
sure.
It's just scary times.
And it's sad to even think that, though. Like, because you called the cops, like, you know what I mean? This man's life could have been taken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just simply because of that call.
I just think that in some regards, getting the white support versus the white backlash, and not even let me say white specifically, I do want to say other, but I feel like there are certain moments where it seems like we're directly being impacted by how the white culture feels about black people. And in this moment, it is that we're in a temperature where people feel like it's okay to, you know, be racist towards black people, because we are under an administration right now that kind of supports those ideologies or puts statements out there that suggest that people of color are lesser than those who are not. And so it's like, okay, you're supporting them now. Like, how can we expect them not to act that way? But it kind of reminds me of, like, I was mentioning earlier how we're talking about just like the culture at large. So it reminded me of Lana Del Rey with this whole recent situation, y'all. So 2 seconds after Doja Cat and Nicki Minaj got #1, and then Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce got #2 for their songs Say So and Savage Remix, Lana Del Rey decided to post this letter, a literal letter, like, I'm not being facetious, on her page explaining like how she feels like when she posts songs explaining her sexuality that she's not supported, but now that these women are, that they are being supported. And she literally starts with like, you know, now that Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, you know, she goes on to name other people, Camila Cabello, like the majority of the names, I think she named like 6 girls, maybe 7, and the majority of them were women of color. Like, I think there was 2. We're gonna say Ariana Grande is not a woman of color, even though she technically is because she's Italian. But let's say it's not, because we're not gonna fight that fight. At the end of the day, it's like basically everyone you said here is of color. Yeah, they're talking about. How could you think? And that's what I'm saying. It's just such a weird temperature we're in. We're so sensitive on social media and stuff, but still, it's like people are coming out the side of their necks. People of complete privilege are just like milking this, like, oh, I can say whatever to you, and you're just gonna take it, like.
And that's not okay, because the thing is, it's like when you're in a situation where your platform has large numbers coming to you and you're pushing this narrative and our president is pushing this narrative and so many other people that have big platforms are pushing this crazy narrative, then it's an influence, because then everyday civilians who go into war are dealing with the, crazy situations because of this crazy narrative push. That's not okay, that's not right, and we have to do something about it. Like, we just have to.
For sure, yeah. What were you gonna say?
But I just feel like, honestly, when it came down to just like the introduction of it, I feel like it should just be an all-around support, because we all see that women work so hard in this industry, but the recognition is barely given. So to have a moment where it is a domination, you should just applaud and just keep it at that. But whenever you begin to tear down, that's where you're already wrong.
Okay?
And there was no need for ever reaching to any of the other women,
specific names,
naming them in any regard. It didn't make sense. So
and the timing of it was just
it was very poor, and it's sad to see that.
It was history making, and we've never had 2 collaborations from 2 black females, 2 black female descents, whatever. We're gonna get into some details in a second, maybe. But at the end of the day, we've never had like this moment. So it's like, while we're in the middle of having this moment, we're so happy and like, hey, we did it, culture. You decide to drop this letter.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the letter. I don't want this letter. I'm sending it back to sender. No.
It's literally, because it's like you had support. Like, you already had everybody's support.
I had Lana Del Rey's, like, now mind you, I did grow up kind of suburban. I wasn't the typical, like, I'm not as into my culture settled in now as I was then, because it's just a whole long story as far as my family and stuff, but it just was like, it took me a while to arrive where the kid needed to be. But with that being said, I did have Lana's album. It was a bomb-ass album. Outside of where I feel now about R&B and how I'm closer to that, it was a great album. So I feel like she still had her moment to shine, and maybe she was criticized, but let's not act like Beyonce and Megan and Doja and Nicki and all these women have not been criticized for their hypersexuality, or for their, not even hypersexuality, but for their ability to say whatever they want to say, if it's sexual or if it's not, if it's about a bad relationship or if it's not. For you to go on to say, people think I'm glamorizing violence, but really I'm just a glamorous person. It's too much, Shawty. It's too much. As much as I want to ride with you, you knew it was too much. That was a lot.
It's just all a mess. I just think that, honestly, one thing that I just want to say is just, artists have to be very aware of their platform, and I think that that's just what this month of May showed us. Lana did overstep her boundary with that, but one of the people in particular that she spoke about, we just want to go ahead and highlight and bring up, which is Doja Cat.
Yellow highlight right there.
And I just have to be honest, in the beginning, my little sister would play Doja's music whenever she was in college. Whenever I would come to New York, I would listen to that. It would then made me just kind of listen to her music.
For sure, she was super waved up back when she was in her, like, more of an R&B bag. And look, I love her transitioning. I love her creativity, and I'm never, ever going to say anything outside of that.
No,
I always been a fan of it, but
I just think that, when we begin to dabble in on black culture, I feel like half the time those who are, just a little bit of it, they say different comments about the full black culture that I don't necessarily feel is accepted. And just in specifics, I'll say, when we're talking about hair, this, that, and the third, it's a lot of negativity on it. And so seeing first the video of her speaking about her hair and how she hates having to deal with 4C hair. First and foremost, let me say, if you have 4C hair, you have beautiful, beautiful hair. I want you to know your curl is so defined that it's in a way that it's beauty. There are people who can't even hold a curl. So when you think about that, it's like, dang, my hair just holds its on a natural. I won't ever let anyone
think about the styles we can do. Like, let's not even think about that. The
let's make
4C
that
hair
very clear.
can pull off every braided style in the whole universe.
Period.
Then turn around and do a silk press, honey. What? Then turn around and do a twist out, a braid. Baby, stop
let
it.
anyone talk about
healthy.
The versatility is ridiculous.
I never want black women to ever feel like their hair or the thickness of it or any of the curls, but we have to go. This is part of it. I love it. I love the fact of being able to be so diverse, and it's all because of my thick ass hair. It's all because of my black kinky hair. It's because of that I'm able to do what I can do. So we're gonna leave that on that.
But it's just like, I don't know. I feel what I'm feeling between even Lana and Doja is like, when it's convenient, the black culture is either criticized or praised. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like with Lana, it's like she was doing a mixture of both. Like, oh, well, look what you guys love, and that's what I've really been this whole time. Like, you know, not just black culture, but just the ethnic culture that has always been more sexually driven. That's like that's the essence of our music. And so it's just kind of like, okay, you've been inspired by R&B. You've been inspired by soul. Don't forget that, and don't forget the origins of that genre. And here with Doja, it's like she's being pushed and driven by a black community. We're loving the fact that she's mixed and that she's black, and you know, black people support blackness. But then it's like, you're not supporting this community that's supporting you,
and that's where things get a little
disappointing.
Yeah.
And it's like, at least that's how I'm perceiving it. And I know that, you know, it is perception. It's just a picture. It's just the clips that we saw. But it is definitely, like, someone who has just been listening to her music so long, it was just saddening to hear, like, that she had made that comment about 4C hair. Because I have 4C hair. And I love my hair. And I've learned how to make it where it's extremely, extremely moisturized. And I can do any style I want to do to it, this and that. So just to hear, like, negative comments about it feels like you're talking negatively about me, and to put yourself in situations with people who talk negatively about me and you're cool with that,
it just makes all of it look bad.
It makes it look bad, because imagine, it's the same way we are. When you have a friend that you're super close with who's cool with people that you're not close with, it's awkward. It's like, who are you loyal to here? Like, them or me? Like, so I just don't like being put in that situation. And I appreciated her verbal apology. I felt like the one that she posted that was just typed out at first, it just felt very distant, it felt very controlled, it felt very edited. But the verbal apology where she is kind of acknowledging that some things were wrong and something she wasn't supposed to be involved with, I did appreciate that. Because, you know, I know people can't control their past, but again, what was troubling about this is what some of this footage was happening in May. So this is after you've received our support, and after you've seen the vlogs where it's like, oh, black woman, black woman, black woman, you know, it's I don't know.
I just feel like you just have to use your platform better, and it was in the month of May, and it's just like the comments of what you say, and when you know that you're present with the time of I am who I am, I'm making the name that I'm making. It's many eyes on you, and also you're collaborating with someone who we find very influential, who is a black woman who has a lot of black fans, who you just made sure that you had that crossover for that reason. And to hear this come out almost in the, you know, next week's, it's like, oh, that's disappointing. Like, it's just, you know, she did give an apology, and for a lot of people, they can't even do that of speaking on it. So commend you on that. But I just think that there's a lot of learning lessons here of taking our time when speaking on certain topics and certain things, making the commentary of, thank God I'm a light-skinned, thick woman. Those type of comments, it's just hurtful. It's a lot of hurtful things that are being said for no reason, and pokes at black women when it's like,
things are sensitive about.
Things are sensitive about because we deal with on a regular
daily basis
from others. You know what I mean? So it's like from your own. Because it's like you should understand, because you go through it. So why people want that same hatred and anger back onto us. Yeah.
And it's like, even if it is a self-reflecting moment that you have, I think you just gotta make sure you're careful about that. Not taking feelings that you feel maybe about yourself and projecting them out. Even if you are saying something that is like, oh, well, this is just applying to me. It's like, once you said the comment, you know, and for example, for C, it's like now you're talking about everyone in the world who has that kind of hair, you know? And so that's when it becomes offensive. And so it's like, I felt weirded out because I hadn't heard a lot about, I knew that she was black. We know like some kind of background on her situation with her dad and her being mixed and stuff, but I never heard her herself claim being black. So in the initial apology, the written one that was saying that was kind of lukewarm on, you know, I am a black woman, it was just like, this is the first time I've ever heard you state that. Yeah. And I don't like the time.
That is now.
Yeah. And it's like, it goes back to kind of like using the culture when you want to and dismissing it when you want to. And it's not just from the police, it's not just from whites, it's not just from, you know, mixed or black people. It's the whole thing together that's just keeping us down. You know, black culture is not for sale. It's not something that you can just purchase and then walk away from. Like, our pros and our cons, if you want to involve yourself in this culture, are a part of you. And you're going to be called out, as you should be, every single time you're walking that fence. Yeah. It's just not okay.
Because what's wrong is wrong, and if you can't find it in your heart to support and bring justice to what's wrong, then I don't know. I'm gonna say a prayer for you.
Why do you care? Why do you care then? Yeah, why do you care about this culture? If it's
seriously,
like, none of that have nothing to do with me.
Because it's so crazy.
Then let none of it have nothing to do with you.
But we all know the black culture is so influential to the entire world that we can't let something like what's going on now go on and everybody not come up and help bring justice to the situation. Yeah. It's just, we can't.
Because it's not just about black lives. It's just about the whole systematic oppression that believes there's a hierarchy. This is at the top, this is at the bottom. And no matter where you fall on that list, to know as they eliminate, you know, sector by sector, that you're coming up, unless you are at the top of that by however it's defined, and just not down.
It's not okay. I just don't think that it's acceptable.
Yeah.
And that's just sad.
My final words on it is genuinely, black culture is not for sale. Like, it's not something you can purchase and tap into and tap out of.
No. That's it.
But we'll be back, y'all. Go ahead.
Seriously, guys, we want to have a discussion, so leave your opinions in the comments down below. Let's talk about things. Let's get a discussion going, and we'll see you guys in our next video.
Okay, we out.